Hiya, Five, and welcome to your Money Matters Lesson 4. Now, I know that the Money Matters has been causing a few problems, so I thought it easy to do a video today. Okay, so, big question. What choices do we have about spending money, and what impact can these choices have? Okay, so we're looking at this keyword here, which is called a budget. Okay, you may have heard of this before about people having budgets and things what to spend on. Okay, this lesson we want to think about what choices we have about how we spend our money. I would really like to buy this new t-shirt, but it's way over my budget. I will budget for next week. There are a few things I need to buy and I must make sure I have enough money. Okay, so using that, can you work out what budget means? So budgeting is to do with spending money wisely, okay? So for example, if you've got a budget of £30, okay, to go shopping with, it means you can't go over that or you shouldn't go over that, okay? You should try to stick to that budget, okay? Right, when we think about our budget, we must consider how much money is coming in and what we need to spend money on over a certain time. So when we're thinking about what we need to spend money on, there are lots of things to think about. Let's take a look. So managing the weekly budget. It is helpful to keep track of what we spend. We can do this by budgeting and making a list of what we spend on what. We can also keep receipts, okay, because that will show how much you've spent and you can look back on that. Okay, so there you go. So for example, if someone bought a coat and it was £10, it will tell you whether you've paid on cash or card, okay, and when you did it, it'll have the date on, okay. So what affects our spending choices? Now, we've had a little look at ethical spending, okay, so let's have a look at what else. So the choices we make around what to spend our money on have certain effects on the people and environment around us. Let's look at some examples. So there we go. So fair trade, so that was what we talked about, that ethical spending. Okay, if products are made to be used only once, they may be cheaper, but this can have an impact on the environment. Single-use plastics get thrown away and cause pollution, damaging the environment and wildlife. If a bottle is reusable, it avoids a negative impact on the environment. Okay, so what this is saying is for 50p, you can buy this bottle, but really you can only use it once. Okay, if you spend £1.50, you can keep reusing that one. Okay. If clothes are sold at very cheap prices, it may be because workers haven't been paid fairly for their hours. This could even mean that child labour has been used or adults have not been paid fairly for their work. Okay? This was all linked with the ethical spending. Even when we have made our spending choices, we have a choice about what to do with things we are finished with. So this is where we either recycle, okay? This is talking about clothes in particular, how people take clothes to charity shops, okay? So they can be sold to people that want them, okay? So there's that phrase again, ethical spending. So that's spending money on products that have been produced without harm to other people or the environment. Okay, so chocolate is one that always springs to mind for me because I know that that is made a lot with fair trade. Right, trainers. So look at this, £25. This pair of trainers has been made by people who don't get paid minimum wage for their work. Okay, so that's the amount that the government agrees that we should be paid every hour. Okay, £65. This pair of trainers has been made by a company who ensure a fair wage for their workers. Their workers get paid holiday, sick leave, and extra benefits such as discounts on products. Right, okay, so one way to limit budgeting is actually to have to do a little bit of budgeting yourself. So you have two tasks here. You have task 1 and you have task 2. Feel free to pick whichever one you want, or if you want to have a little go at doing both, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so here it says you have £150 to create your perfect bedroom. Your challenge is to find the price of the things you want in your room, but to the budget of £150. Please create a list of what you want with their prices, then add them up and see how much it's cost you. Okay, so what that means is in your bedroom, if you want an Xbox, if you want a TV, if you want a bed, okay, you need to think about how much it's going to cost you. Now, quite cheaply, I've only given you £150 to spend on that. Okay, so we can't go crazy. It's not your dream bedroom, okay? Just think about what you necessarily need in there, okay? Now, if you've got an Argos catalogue at home, you may be able to use that to help you find prices. If not, it may be that you have to do a little bit of research on Google. But please, as always, do it safely and try to use the Kindle websites, which is always child friendly, okay, and should not have anything that is not suitable for children to look at, okay. And what I want you to do is on Seesaw, I've uploaded a little page where you can put on, okay, what everything's cost you and see if you can get it under that £150. If you can't, explain why. Okay, maybe it's like, right, no, I needed that, okay, or unfortunately I overspent on the TV, so I've gone over my budget. Okay, it's not quite an issue if you go over, because it's showing you that actually it's so easy to go over your budget. Okay, but try to stay under it. Task 2, okay, now you only have £50 to create your favourite meal. Now, that's quite a lot of money for a meal, but it may be that you want a starter, a main, and a dessert. Okay, you may have to factor drinks into that. Okay, so it may be that you want a bottle of Coke or a bottle of orange juice. Okay, so your challenge is to find the price of the ingredients you need to include. Okay, so if, for example, I was making a curry, okay, I might have to think, right, how much does a pack of chicken cost? Okay, how much will it cost for my spices? Okay, I want to drink some Vimto, so I have to buy a bottle of Vimto. Okay, make sure you put everything in there, because sometimes we don't include things that we don't even think of. But sometimes when we do activities like this, it makes us think, oh wow, that's what our parents get as well. Okay, and I will once again, please share it on Seesaw. Okay, if you do happen to cook a meal, okay, you do not have to. If you do happen to, please feel free to put that on Seesaw as well. That would be lovely to see. Okay, but like I said, you can pick one or the other. You do not have to cook the meal. It can be a pretend meal. Okay, but the main objective of this is to let you understand that you have a budget. You're not supposed to go over this budget, but if you do, recognise why you've gone over it. Is £50 too expensive for one meal? Okay, might you have needed a smaller budget? Is £150 not enough for a bedroom? Okay, please write a little bit at the bottom of that sheet on Seesaw and explain that to me. Okay, super. Thanks, Year 5.